Hey, and welcome to The Solid Verbal. Now would be a perfect time to consider subscribing. Yeah, that little subscribe button for year-round premium college football content. That's it. Here's the video. Enjoy. Subscribe.
Let's unpack Clemson a little bit.
Sure.
Clemson's schedule, as it looks to my untrained eye, is not exactly the easiest slate. It's been easy recently for Clemson, if only because they've been so far and away better than everybody else in the conference.
Yeah.
But it's not an easy slate this year by any stretch. I think some of the teams on this slate have gotten better. Where are we at with Clemson, and how do you feel about the schedule in front of them?
So we've got neutral site Georgia Tech to open the season, and before we go, they barely beat Georgia Tech last year. They barely beat the Jackets last year. So I still think they should easily open the season with a win. The rest of the non-conference is whatever. It's Furman, Louisiana Tech, a very much down Louisiana Tech squad. On the road at Wake will be challenging, and it's sort of a story of stretches for Clemson because the meat of their schedule before that bye date ahead of their trip to South Bend and playing Notre Dame, it's at Wake, NC State, at Boston College, at Florida State, Syracuse. Now, that's not a murderer's row, but it's a wounder's row. It's something.
Wounder's row?
Ty, stick with me. Sell my nonsense.
Wounder's row. Got it.
Wounder's row.
Thank you.
In that, who the hell likes playing Wake Forest? Who likes playing Wake Forest? Even if you win by 2 touchdowns, it's not going to be fun. It's not going to be fun defending the slow mesh. Come on, get out of here. Wake Forest is going to be a difficult out. They were a gust of wind away from winning the ACC last year, and they returned their quarterback, and they extended their coach. Like, the Wake situation is pretty good. The defense won't be, but still, hard out. Wounders row. NC State might be the class of the conference. Good team, return a quarterback on solid ground. At least that game is at Clemson. At Boston College. Has Clemson had fun with Boston College lately? If Phil Jurkovec, if we're not dealing with the Dennis Grosel experience, which I believe we won't be, Phil Jurkovec in that sneaky Will Levis, Kenny Pickett, like somebody's got to get taken 27th in the NFL draft. Phil Jurkovec, why not Phil? Is sort of the sentiment. So that's a BC team that should be, if they are healthy and they've recruited decently enough, a tough out. Again, Wounders row. A Florida State team in Tallahassee that we don't have a good concept for, but we imagine they are going to be better than the 0-4 team that started out last year. Experience more and more depth, whatever. The defense took a nice step forward. And Syracuse at home has not been a great experience over these past few years playing Syracuse. And return a rushing attack. The defense was quietly pretty decent, and it has been these past couple years. Again, it's just there's no guppies in that stretch, is what I'm saying, Ty.
Yeah.
And then they finish out the year with who the hell knows. We assume Notre Dame's going to be good. We don't know how good. That's in South Bend. That's tricky, to say the least. Notre Dame, I believe, has Syracuse. So they will both have Syracuse right before that matchup. But Clemson has the open date, and Notre Dame has Syracuse. So there's a nice little advantage, at least there, for Clemson ahead of that matchup.
But they still got to go to South Bend.
They still have to go to South Bend, which is very much a chore. Very much a chore. I like where Clemson's at as a roster, I think, more than Notre Dame at the moment. But
sure,
what are they getting from quarterback? Who knows by the time they're playing that game. Louisville, complete toss-up, complete wild card. We'll see. They've been recruiting well. Those guys aren't playing this year. And then Miami, it's November 19th. What we don't know anything about Miami. We know they have a returning quarterback that has promise, and they finished with South Carolina, who they blanked last year. It's just very stretchy. That there are no real. You've got the bye date ahead of Notre Dame, which is wonderful, and that's an advantage. But it's still South Bend, and it's sort of getting Georgia Tech when they do, not getting Duke, not getting first-year Virginia Tech, not getting first-year Virginia, and the defense is accompanying those programs. It would have been a really nice year to have one of those defenses to get right in the middle of the schedule, and they don't. And so it's stretchy, it's landminey. Clemson should be a double-digit win program just because of that defense. With competent offense and that defense, especially up front, they should win 10-plus games. But that's, again, Wounders row, ACC, any given Saturday. I'm curious, Ty. What is your reaction with this schedule?
I feel similarly. It seems like there are a lot of potential landmines. What I'm trying to digest here is how I feel any of these teams will fare against Clemson's defense.
Totally.
Because Clemson's defense is going to be amazing. And by the way, their talent on offense is still amazing. It's still a good team. As you said, double-digit wins. Looking at this, it should be double digits with flying colors.
Yeah.
The question is Clemson going to get back to where they were pre the 2021 season when Trevor Lawrence was still there, when all of their coaches, frankly, were still there?
Yeah.
There's a lot of turnover that Clemson is dealing with here on a couple different fronts. And so in addition to some of these matchups, which are ever so intriguing, going to Notre Dame, going to Florida State, going to Boston College the week before Florida State, there are situations here that I think are very interesting. But what underpins it all is the fact that this is a program that did take a little bit of a step back last year. And then on top of it has had to deal with coaches, with all sorts of turnover that we frankly can't predict the outcome of into 2022. So Clemson for sure within the ACC will be one of those teams that I think we're ever so intrigued to find out more about. But at this juncture, early June, who knows?
By the way, just in terms of the schedule and the rhythm of the schedule, if DJU ain't it probably would have been nice to have an open date before a lesser team than Notre Dame. Yeah. To have that open date before the Wake defense. We're like, all right, we're splitting things with Cade Klubnik, or we're giving the job to Cade Klubnik before, playing against the North Carolina defense in the, I think it was Gene Chizik, right? He's taking over once again the North Carolina defense. Like, it would have been nice to have that open date before a softer landing spot if DJU ain't it. So that's something else to just pay attention to with the stretchiness of the schedule. So, yeah, Clemson will be fascinating, and we'll preview them, of course, in later summer.